champion.
Alright, what we learned from picks and bans. LGG versus VG Game 3. So, Game 2 was interesting. It was close, but the Rise Death Ball is still pretty strong, turns out. And the Lulu pick worked out, which I was worried about, but it played out pretty close to how I wanted. Godby got that lead, but it was alright. This game. So we're looking at a Lulu pick on LGG this time with a Callista. I'm not too sure. Oh, Ari. They go in like a protect the Callista. That doesn't really. I might have spelled Ari wrong. Well, I don't really like the LGD comp. It seems very confused. Like, Callista's not a long range champion. I guess since the long range guys are banned just like the game before, it's gonna be okay. So LGG's comp worked last time because of the Rise. Ari's a burst. Rise because of his cooldown reduction, passive and stuff. It really makes him sustain, and his ultimate is not a burst ultimate. It's a sustain ultimate. It gives him the spell vamp to keep him up onto par. So LGG's comp is nowhere near the same as VG's comp last game. VG's comp this game is actually a little bit closer to LGD's comp last game, which had an advantage in diving in and killing the enemy carries, basically. Alright, well, let's go through this and then think about it after we've thought of all the aspects of the team comps. So, threat range. This is actually going to be on LGD just because Ari can close the gap farther and burst farther than VG. And VG also doesn't really have any heals. They're bringing Exhaust again, which is great because Exhaust is like pretty much the most useful spell, especially if you're going to be dealing with an assassin or any sort of dive champion. And Ari is, of course, one of those champions, so that's going to be good. Or if Callista gets really fed, you just exhaust her, and you should be able to kill her before the exhaust wears off, because that will hurt her lifesteal and sustain too. Alright. Threat range, it's pretty much equal, but Ari is definitely longer than range than Kassadin, so they have a little bit more burst threat. And since their team, Nar's tanky, so he doesn't have to worry about Ari. Nunu's not really going to worry either, but you never know what happens with the jungler. If you have the burst, if you have the tank, burst threat isn't as threatening. They do have that, whereas they don't have that. Who said doesn't? It's a little bit towards there, which does mean VG's going to probably have to engage on them. Yeah. But do they even have this engage? Nar jumping in, kind of. They don't have it, so this disengage is going to be pretty tough to deal with. So their engage is kind of equal. Because if Nar jumps in, or no, actually, because Kassadin can keep jumping in after the initial engage, so the disengage isn't that important. Thresh can go in too. LGD has Ari, Charms, and Rek'Sai engages, and Callista balls. So actually, LGD is a much better engage. mainly because of the Callista. You can like they could Callista Janna in and ult people back and ult Janna with Lulu and then send in Rek'Sai and stuff. They can follow. Yeah, that's there's a lot going on there. That a lot of tricks and stuff you can do with engages. Where VG they only have Gnar to jump in or Nunu to like run in, but VG they're really good at hiding in bushes, so they could pull that off, but they don't actually have the engage. Poke and heal. The poke's definitely LGG. Callista, Lulu, Ahri, and Rek'Sai all kind of have these longer range pokes that no one of VG really has besides Gnar Boomerangs. So that's huge. That's huge. Pick's equal. They both have a long range CC in Thresh and Ahri, and they both have good follow up on capitalizing upon this pick. So either team could just get the pick that wins the game. It's kind of disappointing. So engage pressure, so VG has to engage if they want to do anything. And that's a bad sign because they don't really have a stronger engage or a stronger pick or a stronger poke or a stronger threat. That's too bad. So fights and split. So can they deal with the split? I don't know how good Lulu is dealing with split pushing and stuff, but again, split isn't that big of a deal. It's mainly the fight. That was a big thing with last game. Like last game, VG couldn't deal with LGG's split, but LGG couldn't really even split because you have to fight. I don't know how else to explain it. Like if you try to split and you lose like all these objectives to a 5-man team comp, a 5-man like deathball, so you have to fight. I mean, you could just forfeit the game too, but that's generally not what you're trying to do. Alright. Fight. How does LGG do this? Well, they Callista Janna in, they get an Ahri charm, Rek'Sai just goes in with Lulu ultimate follow up, but Rek'Sai just goes in and Ahri comes in after him, and they just try to target Vayne. They can expect Kassadin to come in by himself, but they have nothing to deal with Kassadin. Holy shit. LGD has nothing to do with Kassadin. They don't have exhaust. They don't have a direct target. Oh, Lulu can turn him into a squirrel. That has to happen. So, LGG's whole fight is Lulu, squirrel. I think there's an E. No, it's like Squirtle. Well, Lulu, CC. That's less embarrassing. Alright, Lulu, CC. On Kassadin. And kill Vayne. Or you kill Kassadin if you get the CC. If not, you're trying to kill Vayne. Knocking back Kassadin. That's gonna be very, very hard for LGG. If Kassadin comes in, he has free reign on whatever target he wants. LGG has nothing that will directly stop him. They have no targeted CC. They have no exhaust. They have some knockbacks, but again, Kassadin can come right back in after he gets knocked back by a Janna ultimate or something. But what does VG have? Alright, so that's kind of LGG's fight. They have to worry about this Kassadin while avoiding or trying to get Vayne down. And just protecting Imp. Imp has to be protected by Acorn. So the other thing, Lulu's kind of the whole key to this. And Janna. Protect Acorn, or protect Imp. Kill Kassadin, kill Vayne. And Imp kind of just has to deal damage to Danny in World 6, like if they're there in front. So it's rather annoying. What does VG have to do? VG. I don't know. This is this is a problem. Cassidy has to just kind of go in alone. Probably after Dandy. Dandy goes in, and then Cassidy needs to flank or something. But Dandy's not always going to be there because he has teleport. So like Mata has to get a pick. Mata has to land a Thresh pick. That's not, you don't want to rely on getting a pick to win a team fight. That's really bad. So Dandy goes in. They could do that though. VG was playing the map really well before, so if they get they hide somewhere. But LGG is better than OMG, I'm guessing, particularly because of the style of the playoffs and the fact that they're still playing in it. So the key thing here is Cass follow up. Cass, Narf, follow up onto ideally Imp and Pick, but I'm not putting Pick in there. That's bad. It's such a bad thing, but LGG also doesn't really have a lot of stuff that can stop Cassidy from just coming in. But Cassidy's range sucks now. So win. We're gonna have to go LGD. Yeah. So even if they can't stop Cassidy, they can kill Cassidy. Hopefully before he can kill anyone, because the VG doesn't really have anyone else that's going to be coming in with Cassidy. That's pretty much it. Yeah, LGD. LGD. I'd be nervous about giving a high percentage because of Cassidy, but I feel like LGG could even kill VG even if Ari wasn't even in the game, like even if it was a 4v5. So I'm going to give LGG a pretty solid 70% chance to win this game. I'm confident that VG's map movements are just so good. So if everything goes standard, LGG has a really strong chance to win it if they get their good warding, but VG's going to capitalize on the mistake they make, and it could very well win them in the game, but they don't really have the pick and ban as well as LGG does, I believe. So we're going with LGG 70%.